Welcome to the Radiant Vista. I'm Mark Johnson, and today I'm going to be doing a video tutorial on using Adobe's Bridge. The Bridge, although it is a standalone application that is separate from Photoshop, the two handshake together really well. They're integrated so tightly that I use the Bridge to manage just about everything I do with images prior to opening them in Photoshop. It's also a wonderful automation tool. I'm not going to go into the automation features that the Bridge has today, but I'm going to show you how you can open the Bridge, navigate the Bridge, and deal with all of your image files within the Bridge so that you don't have to use your operating system to do that anymore. If you're a person who goes back and forth between Mac and PC to do your work, if you use the Bridge, all of your work is going to look the same working within the Bridge, and you're not going to have to worry about how each operating system differs. But I find the Bridge to be an extremely useful, very handy tool, so I want to take you on a basic tour of how you use the Bridge. Off we go. First thing I want to do here is get the Bridge open. So if I have Photoshop open right now, I can get to the Bridge a couple different ways. First of all, I could choose File and then Browse, and that would bring it up. The other choice is there is an icon, and you actually can't see it because of the size of my workbench screen right here, but there's an icon just to the right of this one here that is a folder with a seashell in it and a magnifying glass. That icon that you can't see, I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up the Bridge. I actually have set up Photoshop so that every time I open Photoshop it automatically fires off the Bridge because I'm using the Bridge for so many things. So let me show you back in Photoshop how I did that. We go into Photoshop, and here under Preferences, Photoshop Preferences, that's going to be on a PC, it's going to be under Edit Preferences, and where it says General, in this Preferences dialog box, the General pull down choice here, you'll see I have a box check that says automatically launch the Bridge. That means every time I fire off Photoshop, the Bridge is automatically going to open up. I've already set that, so I don't need to click OK. I'm just going to click cancel to get out of that. Now let's go back over to the Bridge here. We're actually looking into Adobe Bridge, and first thing I want to do is I want to show you just what this Bridge is. You have several different panes in here. You'll notice this one in the upper left corner here. This is called Favorites, and next to it you have a nested folder called, or nested pane called Folders. Below that you have a preview window. This is where you're going to see a preview of your thumbnails when you click on them. And below that you have a couple of other panes down here. You have a metadata pane and a keywords pane. And then out to the right here, this is called the light table pane. So this is where you actually see your images. Well, I want to reorganize this particular Bridge setup because it doesn't really work for me. You can organize yours exactly how you want it. You can save off various workspaces, but I'm going to organize mine into the workspace that I use most often by doing this. First of all, I want a really big preview window for my images. So in order to make that bigger, I'm going to start by taking the metadata pane right here. So I'm actually going to click and hold down on the metadata tab and drag it up here until I see a blue box around the area where I'm trying to deposit that. I'm going to let go, and you'll notice that the metadata pane or the metadata tab here is located now nested next to the folders and the favorites panes. Then I'm going to come down to the keywords tab, click and hold down on that, and drag keywords up into here as well. So I have all of those nested together. I'm only going to be accessing one or two of them on a regular basis, and the other ones I'll show you what they are, but we're not really going to go into using those very much. Alright, so I've got all of those panes nested together right here, and that gives me the opportunity to make my preview window bigger. So here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I want to click on Folders because that's the one I'm going to most commonly use to navigate into my hard drives and into my folders. Now I'm going to come down here, and where you see this little 3-notch area, I think, or maybe that's 2 notches. If you click and hold down on that, you can drag it upward, and in doing so I'm expanding my preview window upward, and then I can click on this one right here and drag that out, and so I can get a much larger preview window area. You can decide how large of a preview window area you prefer. I like mine to be pretty large, but in this case, because I'm working in a small workbench area, or actually I'm sorry, video tutorial area, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller than that. Now when I click on images, you'll see that I get a much bigger, better preview right over here. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to organize these the way I'm used to working with them. And I'm used to working with these either as thumbnails, which is what you see right here, or as details. And I can get to details by coming right down here. You can't see the little details view text that's listed below that, but I can get into details view simply by clicking right there. And in details view, I get the name of the file as well as all of this additional metadata information describing it. And so pick the view that you use most commonly, whether it be details or thumbnails right here, or if you prefer the look of the film strip view, you can do that. Any one of those views are available right down here. I'm going to go ahead and choose thumbnails for now, because that's the one I use probably most often, although it's a close call between that and details depending upon what I'm in need of. Once you have the view set up that you want right here, let's save this workspace by choosing Window, Workspace, and Save Workspace. And this is going to be your most common workspace, so I might just call this Mark's Workspace. You can come up with a better name than that. You can come up with very specific names like Light Table Workspace or Loop Workspace or Image Editing Workspace or something like that. But go ahead and give it a descriptive name and click the Save button. Now that workspace is going to show up under Window, Workspace right here. So let me reset this back to the default workspace, which is where we started. And now if I go to Window, Workspace, and slide down to Mark's Workspace, then it will lock me back into this view that I like so much. Alright, if you're in the thumbnail view mode, like I'm in right here, and I got there by clicking on this button right down here, or if you're in another one of these viewing modes such as details, which I got to right here, no matter what mode you're in, you can change the size of the thumbnails in the light table pane here by using this slider. So I can get much larger, and that's nice because it happens interactively. It's immediate that you get larger thumbnails or smaller thumbnails when you work with this. This is going to allow you to really size your images so that you can see them for the type of work that you are doing. Down here I mentioned that you can go into thumbnails view or film strip or details view. I like these little buttons down at the bottom, but I just want to show you that those are also available under the view menu up here. You're going to see the exact same thing. You can choose these different views from the view menu as well. Now if you want to sort your thumbnails in various ways, whether it be by date created or date modified or file type, or for that matter if you want to sort them by the rating that you assign, and I'll talk about that coming up. No matter how you want to sort your images, you can do that by coming down to the sort menu right here. Right now mine are being sorted by file name, so it's alphanumeric, and they're in ascending order, so I'm going to have the number 1 or the letter A at the top, and it's going to move down to the bottom of the bridge or the light table pane where I have Z's and larger numbers. So I'm sorting in ascending order by file name at the moment. If I wanted to change that so that I don't have my early letters in the alphabet right here, then what I might do is go to, if I go out of ascending order, you'll see I have at the top here, I have my later letters in the alphabet listed first. And then let's go on here, let's do this instead. I haven't rated anything yet. Let's see if there's something else that might be useful right now. In this folder I don't know if I have anything. I could do something like by the date they were created, and then I could go back into ascending order here, and that's going to mean that the oldest stuff is right in here and the newest material is showing up down here. Anyway, so you have a whole variety of different ways to sort your images available under View and Sort. Now another thing you can do, since this is a light table, you can sort these images as if they're slides on the light table. You can move them around simply by clicking on an image and dragging it. So go ahead and drag them around as much as you want. And when you see that blue line pop up there, that means it's going to put that image or that slide right between the other two images. So that's kind of a nice feature. When you do that, if you go under View and look here at Sort, it says you're sorting manually at that point. All right. Let's talk about rotating an image. So I'm in a folder right here. I'm actually looking at my Macintosh hard drive, and I'm in a folder called Bridge Basics. And in this folder, I have some images that need to be rotated. So I'm going to go in here and rotate them. But actually, you know, I'm going to take a mini tangent before I do that. One thing I forgot to mention about the bridge that is really nice is that the bridge doesn't own any of your images or any of your folders. If you've worked with a program like iPhoto or something like that, it actually tries to own your images and your folders. And it tries to create new folders for you that you don't have any idea where they exist. And so the bridge is simply a looking glass into your hard drive and into your folders. It never owns anything, so you're still managing your images on your hard drive and within folders that are filed on your hard drive. You're still managing them that way even when you're working through the bridge, and this is just acting as a spyglass into that filing cabinet that is your hard drive. Anyway, back to rotating. Sorry, that was a little mini tangent. Back to rotating. If you find an image that needs rotating like this one, all you have to do is come up to these icons that you see right here, and I'll choose rotate 90 degrees clockwise and click, and it rotates the image. Now it rotates the image within the bridge, and when you open the image into Photoshop by double clicking on its thumbnail here or the preview here, it will be rotated inside Photoshop. It does not, however, rotate the image at the system level. So on your actual hard drive, if you were to open it up from the hard drive instead of through the bridge, it would not be rotated at that point. See, I think I have one more in here. Yes, this other one needs rotating, so I'll click on that and click here to rotate that image as well. If I wanted to delete an image, say there's an image in here that I'm not happy with and I want to get rid of it. Let's say I want to get rid of this one right here. To delete an image, I can highlight it like that and simply press the delete key on my keyboard, or I can click right here on this delete icon trash can. Sorry, delete item trash can icon. So I click and it's deleted the image. The first time that you do that, it will bring up a dialog box that will say, are you sure you want to delete this image? And I check the little checkbox there that says don't show this dialog again, because when I press delete or click here, I actually want to delete an image. Now, it's not actually deleted from your computer. It's simply deposited in the trash or in the recycle bin if you're working on a PC. So you can still get to it. If you want to rename an image, let's say I want to rename this image that's right here, I can simply single click on the name of that image right here in the bridge, and I can name it something else. Maybe I want to call this a different color flowers. Let's call this magenta flowers instead of purple flowers. And when I'm done typing in the new name, I can press return or enter, and now I have a new name associated with that particular image. Now if I want to create a new folder using the bridge so that I can copy a series of images into that new folder, then I am going to come over here into the folders pane, and this is where I manage my folders. So the images within folders are visible here on the light table, but the actual folders are managed over here in the folders pane. And so what I want to do is I want to make a new folder that goes into my Mac hard drive. So I'm going to single click on that to make it active. Now what's visible on the light table are all the folders that are inside the Mac hard drive. That'd be the C drive on a PC or whatever hard drive you're using to hold your images. So once you highlight the filing cabinet or the hard drive into which you're going to put the new folder, you'll come up here to this icon and click once to create a new folder. It's already going to have the folder name highlighted here, so you can call this whatever you want. And I'll just call this favorite 2006 images. Something like that. Now, there's the folder visible on the light table, but if I scroll down in my Mac hard drive, you're also going to see there's the folder right there. So if I want to copy some images from my Bridge Basics folder here, the one that we were looking at originally, into my favorite 2006 images folder, what I can do is start by single-clicking on the Bridge Basics folder, and now I can see all those images here on the light table. Let me shrink down the thumbnail size with this slider right here so I can see more of the images. And now, if I want to copy some images over, I may want to make a random selection here. So first of all, if I want to select the first, say, 4 images, I can click on this one here, and then I can shift-click on this one here, and it's going to make a contiguous selection of from the first image to the last image that I shift-clicked on. Did I say that right? Shift-clicked. Yes, I think so. Anyway, so I have my 4 images right here selected by clicking on the first and then shift-clicking on the last one. And now if I want to move those over to the favorite 2006 images folder, I can simply click and drag. Now it's actually going to move them out of the Bridge Basics folder and put them into the favorite 2006 images folder. So that was actually a move because I was copying from one folder to another on the same hard drive. If I wanted to copy them instead of moving them, let's go back into the Bridge Basics folder, and let's this time, instead of doing a contiguous selection, let's do a random selection of images, non-contiguous. So I'll hold down the Apple key, the Command key on the Mac, or the Control key on a PC, and I'll click on the images that I want to take over to that other folder. So I'll take this group here, holding down Command or Control to do a non-contiguous selection. Now if I want to copy them into here, which will leave them also in the Bridge Basics folder, I'll hold down the Option or the Alt key, I'll click and I'll drag them over. And you see the plus symbol right there? That indicates that I'm doing a copy. Now those images still exist in the Bridge Basics folder, but if I go to the favorite 2006 images folder, then they are also in here. Let's talk about how you might rate an image. So let's say it's the point in your workflow where you're going to go in and actually categorize your images from the best work that you've done to the worst. Well, in order to rate images, what you can do is, first of all, make them a little bit larger than what I have right there. So I'm increasing the size of the thumbnails. Now what I can do is, when I click on an image, let's say that this is what I would consider a 4-star image. Well, to rate that, I can go up under Label and I can choose a star rating right here, or I can use Command or Control and the number keys. So if it's a 4-star image, I'm going to do a Command or Control 4, and it's going to give that a 4-star rating. Move to the next one, and let's say that that's a 5-star, so I Command or Control 5 that. Move to this one, let's say that's a 3-star, Command or Control 3. Moving on, let's say it's a 4, and I'm just going to quickly move through these. You can use the arrow key on your keyboard to move through the images, and we'll call that a 4, call that a 3, call that a 4, and I'm just going to call these a variety of different things. Let's say that's a 3, and there's a 4. Alright, now at some point in time I may very well want to see the best stuff listed here at the top. So in order to do that, what I can do first of all is I can filter this by a certain star rating and above. So I can come up here where it says Unfiltered, and I can choose to show 4 or more stars. That's going to mean I'm not seeing the images in this folder that are 3 stars or fewer, but they're still there. I'm just not seeing them. So I want to see my 4 or more stars. So that just narrows the field to these images. Now I want to see the 5 stars first. So I go under View and Sort by Rating, but that doesn't quite take care of things. The 5 stars are now last and the 4s are here. So then I have to choose View and Sort and uncheck Ascending Order. That's going to give me my 5-star items first, and then move into my 4-star items right through there. Now there's this one mode that you can go into, and I'm not actually going to be able to do this because of my video tutorial size right here, but I want to at least tell you about this. If I go up under View and I choose Slideshow, it is going to show you your images on screen at a very large size. When I do my personal rating in my workflow, I always choose View Slideshow and see the images as big as I possibly can on screen. When you're in the slideshow mode, here are a few keyboard shortcuts you're going to know about. First of all, there's a menu there that tells you what the shortcuts are. When you want to hide that menu, press the H key and it will hide that menu. Then to advance through your images, if you use the right arrow key on your keyboard, that will take you forward and the left key will take you backward. Then if you want to rate them while you're looking at them big on screen in that slideshow mode, simply tap a numbered key from 1 to 5. You don't have to include the Command or Control key when you do that. You can just tap 1 through 5 in that situation. Then if you need to escape out of that slideshow mode at any point in time, simply hit the Escape key and it'll take you right out. Another thing I want to show you here is you have a Favorites area. Let's just say that Favorite 2006 Images is a folder that I use on a very regular basis. If I use that on a very regular basis, I can make the folder active here in the Folders pane, and I can go up under File and choose Add to Favorites. Now, when I go to the Favorites pane, you'll see listed here, I must have made a water lily my favorite. That was inadvertent. I had the water lily image selected and it added that to the favorite. Well, that's nice to know, and let me close that image. That's nice to know because it means that you can make folders or files or applications for that matter your favorites, but I really didn't want that to be a favorite, so let's see if I can get the folder to work here. Let's try going into Mac hard drive. I think I just did it wrong because I don't do it all that often. I'm going into the Mac hard drive right here, and let me find my favorite 2006 images folder. So I've got that active. Now let's try File, Add to Favorites, and go into Favorites, and you should see favorite 2006 images listed. So as soon as I click on that folder, it's automatically going to take me inside there. So if you need to get to things quickly, make them a favorite and you can find them and use them very quickly from the Favorites pane. Now you also have the metadata pane here, and this metadata pane is interesting. If I highlight an image and I click on metadata, I can find out all kinds of information about the image here. There's an area called File Properties, and File Properties is going to show me the file name, the file size, when it was created, the file type. It's all listed right there. Now I also have something that is the IPTC core, and this is where you see things like copyright information, keywords, which I'll talk to you about in just a moment, and all kinds of other personal information that you might input. Then you have the camera data, so it tells you what your exposure time and f-stop were. It tells you if you were exposure compensating, what program mode were you in, your lens length. Everything is listed right here. So it's incredible that you have that information, that metadata information associated with your file. Also, if it was processed, if it was shot as a camera raw file and processed through the camera raw converter, camera raw data is included. Exactly how you process that file through the camera raw converter is included down here as well. And then finally, at the bottom, you may have an area where it has GPS information. So with certain cameras, certain pro-grade cameras, you can actually add in GPS information so that when you click on that image, and actually this won't do this. I haven't actually tried this through the Bridge, so I don't think it will do it through Bridge. I know Adobe's new product Lightroom will do this, but when you click on an image, it will actually take you into Google, I think it's called Google Earth, which is a program, it's an internet website that shows you exactly the location of something. And in this case, it will show you the exact location of where you shot your image. That's pretty cool. Never tried it, but I think it's a neat idea. All right, let's talk about this other tab that we have here. It's called Keywords. And in the Keywords tab, you have the ability to add in your own custom keywords so that you can locate images very easily at a later date. So if I go into Keywords, first of all, what you want to do is you want to make a keyword set. And to make a keyword set, make sure that none of these other keyword sets are active, and come down to this button right here. Oops, sorry, this button right here that says New Keyword Set. Click on this and name your new keyword set. And let's just, I'm going to call this, maybe I already have a color one and a flowers one. I might call this one, let's say, location. There we go. And I can press return or enter. And now I have a keyword set. Now what I want to do is put a couple keywords in there so I can associate those with certain images. So I'm going to click on the location set and then click on this button right here, new keyword. And that image was shot in Marblehead, Massachusetts. So I might call that Marblehead, Mass, and press return or enter. Now I want to add in another location. So I'll click on the location keyword set and come to this button one more time. And let's say we have this image here that was shot in Jekyll Island, Georgia. Jekyll Island, Georgia. Alright, so now I have a couple locations that are keywords here. Now if I want to associate those keywords with an image or images, all I have to do is click on the image that needs the keyword and then come over here and check the box that represents that keyword. So now the metadata is being updated for this particular image to include a keyword called Marblehead, Massachusetts. Now I have another couple images here that were shot in Marblehead. So I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to come down to this one, hold down the Command or Control key and click on that. So I have selected both of these and I'm going to click the Marblehead, Massachusetts keyword box again. Now if this is your first time doing this, you're going to get a dialog that's going to say, are you sure you want to update the metadata or the keywords for this image? Something along those lines. I always want to do that when I come over here, so I check the box that says don't show again. That's why I'm not getting that. But now the metadata for these three images has been updated with Marblehead, Massachusetts. I could also go into flowers and colors and things like that and add in further keywords. But let's take a look. Let me just click on one of these images. And when I go into metadata, if I scroll down, or scroll up in this case, you will see a keyword called Marblehead, Mass. Now, if I want to find every image that was shot in Marblehead, Massachusetts, I can simply go to Edit and Find. And in the Find dialog box, it asks me where I want to look. Well, in this case, I'm going to look inside the favorite 2006 images folder. You could potentially look inside an entire hard drive. You just go to Browse and you determine where you want it to look. If you're inside a hard drive, you'd probably want to include all subfolders when you're searching. Here it doesn't matter because I don't have any subfolders inside of this particular folder. And then down under criteria, I want to search by keywords. And my keyword contains, and I'll enter in here, Marblehead, Mass. I could search by other criteria by clicking the plus button here and entering in different things. But in this case, in other words, I could even do a second keyword. So I find only images that were shot in Marblehead, Massachusetts that have the color pink in them. But I'm going to compact that for now and just search based on this one criteria. And now it says, do you want to match if any criteria are met or if all criteria are met? Well, I've only got one criteria here, so it doesn't matter. But if in some situations, if you have multiple criteria, you can just determine if you want it to pop up if any of them are met, meaning one of potentially, say, three, or if all, meaning all the criteria are met. Now I'm going to have it show the find results in a new browser window. That's a new Bridge browser window. So you can have multiple Bridge browser windows open at one time. Now when I click Find, it should bring up just those three images that were taken in Marblehead, Massachusetts right there. And I'm in a new Bridge window, so let me close this Bridge window and show you that the other one is still available right back here. Anyway, I hope this overview of the Bridge gives you either some ideas if you've already been using the Bridge, or if you've never used it and you're just kind of intimidated by it. Hopefully it shows you how wonderful this tool is for organizing your work and managing your work. I definitely recommend using the Bridge whenever you're planning to manage your images and open them up into Photoshop. Thanks so much for being with me on this video tutorial. My ebook, The Photographer's Photoshop CS2 Companion, which is available on my website, it has a whole nother section on the bridge, talks all about the automation features that the bridge has to help you really speed up your work. You can find that at www.msjphotography.com. And also, if you haven't looked at the website, under the workshops area, we are posting new workshops and new weekend events all the time. And Craig, Matt, and I would really like to see you at one of our weekend events or our workshops. Have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.